Houston Headhunters. What's up, y'all? For those who are new, I normally do these after each and every game, which is called a game recap. I didn't get a chance to do week 1 and week 2, so we'll go through those real quick as far as what I saw within the game plan. So let's go ahead and get started into it. So week 1, we faced the Sioux Falls Sparrows, which we had a very productive game. Very balanced in that game. Basically, we ran the ball pretty well with Slap in that game versus Sioux Falls, and we ended up winning that game 42-17, I think it was, or so. So defense played great. 2 picks by Jason Peace in that game. Secondary didn't allow anything to get behind them, get deep or so, versus Sioux Falls. So I really like what I saw in that game there. And I just really love how the offense was just extremely balanced. D-line, or front 7, should I say, we didn't get any sacks in that game, which was kind of saddening to me, and it's something I'm still working on as far as getting this D-line to get sacks. We get pressure, but we just not bringing the QB down or getting to the QB, should I say, when we're in that situation of getting close to the quarterback, right? Let's move on to week 2. So week 2, we had we'll take that back. Week 2, we had a bye week. We had a bye week week 2. Came back week 3 and we played Indianapolis. And man, I want to say this was probably the best game that we've played, although it was the second week. But that's probably the best game that I've seen by any team in this game in week 3. And what I say by that is our offense was just clicking on all cylinders. In the run game, we were on it. Passing game, we were on it, man. It's like Burr was just on duty. I think Burr had 3 touchdowns that game. 3 touchdowns, 1 pick versus Indianapolis. GP Wells had a few touchdowns. 1 receiving touchdown, 1 rushing touchdown. Jalen Wells had a touchdown as well in that game. So that game there was very, very balanced. But let's get into what we came here for. Week 3, right? I mean, not week 3. Damn, week 3 was last week. Week 4, Alamo City comes to town, and I'm just gonna flat out, we basically got our ass kicked. If you go back and watch that game in the trenches, man, our D-line didn't get. There were times where our D-line was on the ground. I mean, literally on the ground, man. Their quarterback had so much time to sit back and dissect our secondary. Basically, he just allowed the secondary or the receivers to get open with so much time he had. There was times we got pressure, but we just couldn't get to the quarterback. Like I said, we got pressure, but we just was unable to bring him down. And there was some things I changed up this week, defensively, should I say. After seeing what happened to us defensively versus Indianapolis in the run game, with that, when we were in man coverage, Indianapolis basically ran the ball down our throats when we were in man coverage. When we were in zone, we played very well versus the run. As you saw yesterday versus Alamo City, we played pretty well versus them in zone coverage. Yes, Brad Jones did have a few plays where he did have some nice runs or so. He had 1 big gain. I think that game was like for 40-something yards or so. That was like his biggest run of the day. And that right there hurted us, to be honest with you, because we had him in the backfield. We hit him, I think, twice in the backfield. The first hit, he was like 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Second hit, he was right at the line of scrimmage, bounced off both of those tacklers, and then just ran it in. Had the big run afterwards. I think he broke like 3 or 4 tackles on that run. But that's something we got to work on, man. We got to bring these running backs down. It's an issue throughout the entire league. It's everyone knows about it or so. But But yeah, so I think we played well versus the run outside of the really big, run play that Brad Jones had. Other than that, let's move on to secondary of the defense. I think secondary played well. They were in position to make plays, and there were times where they did make plays. We did get 2 picks in that game, but we should have had more picks. There was one play where that QB stepped up in the pocket, threw a strike right down the middle of the field and right into the hands of the wide receiver after Josh Rowe tried to make an attempt on intercepting the ball. I mean, Josh Rowe came out of nowhere, which was funny to me. I mean, he came out of nowhere, man, and tried to pick the ball off. So yeah, that should have been a pick. In my opinion, that should have been a pick. There was another play where they were in the red zone, basically goal line situation. There was a pass that was thrown to the back of the end zone to the left of the field. Ty Cash could have came away with a pick, but unfortunately it looks like his body, he was running so fast that the momentum of his speed took him out of the play of making a play, right? So if you watch it, he tries to his momentum is moving. He tries to turn around and catch the ball, and he couldn't catch it, because his momentum took him out of the play. He basically passed up the receiver and the ball. So that was a missed opportunity there. Now let's go to the offensive side of the ball. I just don't know what to say. What happened with the offense outside of the AI just fell in love with calling, 4 formations. Basically, I'm gonna say 70% of the game. One was the power I. I mean, that formation was called probably 20 times. It worked for us in the open field. In the open field, we got great yardage out of the power I. And when we got in goal line, it just didn't work for us, right? Yes, we scored I think we scored 1 touchdown off of it, 1 rushing touchdown off of it. Then we had a passing touchdown out of it as well. But I am not sure as to why the AI seems to call that play so much. Now, take this for example. So we had the power I in our playbook yesterday, and Vancouver has the power I in their playbook. Now, in this game, 2K4, there are only 2 teams that have the power I in their playbook. So you can pick another playbook and you can add that formation to your playbook, and so that you can have it, right? As I was doing stats for the Vancouver-Mexico City game last night, I noticed that Vancouver called the power I, but they didn't call it how it was called in our game. I mean, it was just called way too much in our game, man. And I'm gonna be honest, I think that hurt us, by that formation being called so much, because it was called in down and distance where it should have been called. Like, we were 3rd and 4, and it called it. Why are we running the ball on 3rd and 4? I understand we were having great success with it in the open field, but on 3rd and 4, you don't run power I on 3rd and 4. You run power I, man, on 3rd and 2 or 3rd and 1 or 3rd and inches or so. That's when you run it, or when you're down in the goal line. But that's no here nor there. Running backs did great. Running backs played really, really great. I'm not, like I say, it just kept calling that power I, with that it took away from other plays and other formations being called. Because, man, I had so many plays and formations in that playbook that's very, very successful, and none of them were called. you know. And so it took away from the formations that GP were in. If I'm not mistaken, I think Josh Slap was in the power I and a few other formations. And we saw GP, get the ball, but he didn't get the ball as much because we were so much in that power I or so being called. But this loss, man, it falls on me. It absolutely falls on me. One, I'm the head coach. I'm putting the books together, and I did something that I shouldn't have done. Going back to last week, we were in the 3-4 defense a lot versus Indianapolis. So when you're creating playbooks in this game, you're selecting a team playbook from all 32 NFL teams. You can add formations in, you can add plays in so if all of the formations that are in the playbook, you can add plays from other teams into those formations. You can also add formations from other teams into that playbook. You can remove plays that are in your playbook already, but you cannot remove formations from your playbook. So I noticed how, last week versus Indianapolis, when we were in the 3-4 defense, we got torched, by Kristen Pierce. Kristen Pierce ran for 240 yards against us. And I didn't want that to happen again. Although we won the game, but Alamo City is a better team than Indianapolis. Let's be honest about that, right? So, and that's not just educating guess. If you look into the game, the overall value shows it. The game tells you the overall value of the offense, the overall value of the defense, and the overall value of the team as a whole. And Alamo City has a higher value than Indianapolis does when it comes to both offense and defense and a team overall. We're neck and neck with Alamo City. I think when it comes to offense, I think Alamo City is 94, we're 93. Defense, I want to say they're 96, we're 95 or so. And overall, we're 93 and they're 94 as an overall for the team. It's somewhere up in there, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, so I had a playbook set. I had several playbooks I was running in Sims with all week long. But I just kept thinking about that 3-4, and I hate the fact that I love the offensive schemes that were in for these three playbooks that I was running. I love what I was seeing offensively. Defensively, not so much, but as I stated, these books had the 3-4. One of them had the bear in it, and I was like, I just really don't want to run the bear. I really don't want to run a 3-4. So Friday, I get this big idea. Ding! Oh, okay. So I ended up finding another playbook that was that I liked that did not have the bear nor the 3-4 defense in it. So I said, okay, well, let's go ahead and create add plays in, add formations into this playbook. And I ran a few sims with it. One sim we had like 40 something points. Alamo City only scored like 3 points or so. And I was okay with that. I was like, okay, well, this looks pretty good. The next sim wasn't so okay. And it was kind of iffy. And when you're creating playbooks and you're working these schemes or whatever, the last thing you want to do is to continue to second guess yourself. And that's what I did wrong. I continued to second guess myself, man. And it hurted. It hurted us. That's why I say I take full responsibility of this, because that was a mistake that shouldn't have been made by me. I've been messing around with playbooks since 2016, 2015 or so, going all the way back to season 5, season 6 here in the SFL. And that should have been a decision that should have been made. But I bet I have to take the ass kicking on this one here, man. This falls on me, and I feel like crap, because I truly feel that we could have beat Alamo City. I really do feel that we could have beat their team, man. And I got kudos from the commission, like, man, Alamo City, you guys went toe to toe with them outside of the power I being called so much, So let's just say if the AI would have called the game plan like it called last week versus Indianapolis, I believe we win that ball game, you know, with the 3-4 defense in there. So that's something I got to get out of my head as far as thinking about, okay, I don't want teams running up the middle on us because we have the 3-4 in this package that I like offensively. Just adapt to it. You know what I'm saying? That's what I need to do. I should have adapted and should have, you know, basically just went with the first game plan went with the first, y'all know what I'm trying to say. Should have just went with the what I've been working on throughout the week instead of submitting a playbook that I tested out on Friday when playbooks are due Friday night at 11:59 Central Standard Time. You know, so. But guys, that's an ass whooping we had to take on a slap on the wrist. And I'll be back in the lab today, getting work in, and you know, I'll let you guys know how things going, man. But I appreciate each and every one of you guys for being here with us on this team or so. Also, guys, if you haven't got your progression in, go ahead and get your progressions done or so. Last day to submit progression is tomorrow, which is Tuesday at 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time. Other than that, man, let's continue to hunt. We got Fort Worth coming to town this week, and Fort Worth is undefeated. Fort Worth was on a bye week. Not sure if you guys picked this up, but the broadcasters for our team, the broadcasters for our game, were broadcasters that actually plays for the Fort Worth Toros. So those guys are scouting us as they are calling the broadcast, right? You know, I do it myself. Now they didn't pick to call that game, you know. But anytime someone from the team is broadcasting your game, trust me, they're scouting your game as well. So each and every week, I don't use the same playbook. I use a different playbook every week. And next week, we'll be using a different one. All right, so this video is already up to 17 minutes. And I'm going to go ahead and end it short there. Headhunters out. Let's hunt. Let's get it, baby. Peace.